Welcome back. All right, so really full day today. 13 game recap, so go ahead and settle yourselves in. I have no idea how long this is going to take. I'll be as surprised as anybody else is. And then, of course, there's the power rankings. Good news is there's no really early games, so I can do the preview tomorrow morning. So that saves me a little bit of time. We're going to jump in with Columbus and Detroit. This was a tale of two games. Keeping in mind there were 11 games on at once for like an hour and a half, so I had to pick which I watched. And so we'll go through this. Merzlikins versus Husso. The early chances are for Columbus. They were out shooting Detroit 3-0, only 2 minutes in. Nyquist can't bury one in close. Fabry has a chance. That's picked off. Zone time for the Wings, absolutely, but they're not getting shots at this point either. The shots are 6-4 for Columbus at 8.5 minutes. That's after Bergeron had a net feed. That was blocked out. The Wings press at the half. They get a power play. The Jackets, they shot block. They clear it out. They do kill that off. And then it's Laine wide open in front of the net. Can't do that with Laine. He scores from Gaudreau and Roslovic at 12:47. And then the momentum takes over. First, it's Gavrikov from Johnson and Bemstrom at 13:54. Then Kuraly misses one wide from the slot. And Laine would score at 15:30, wires it far corner from Roslovic and Blankenberg, who came back into the lineup today. So it's 3-0 Columbus after one. Second period, early in the second period, 1:31 in, Laine gets the hat trick from Boquist and Gaudreau. When he gets a hat trick, he makes it look easy. Patrick Laine is one of those guys who can just make it look like playing hockey, getting goals. Really easy, simple. So the Wings then get a power play. That's killed off. The shots are 3-1 for Columbus at 4 minutes. Jackets get a power play. That's killed off. After 2 periods, it's 4-0. It looks like this one's done. So third period, good early back and forth in this one. There was a long stretch with no whistle. Seider has a shot that's held. The Wings press at 4 minutes. Laine, looking for his fourth, doesn't get a shot on net. Near miss. And the shots are 3-0 for the Wings at 5.5 minutes. And then, on what's kind of an own goal by Olivier, Mata gets a goal from Kubalik and Larkin at 5:50. And then on a turnover, Wallman wires one at 7:08. So suddenly it's 4-2. And it is Columbus, one of the worst teams record-wise in the league and play-wise in the league as well. So it really looks like Detroit might be in trouble. The Wings press with 5.5 minutes left, and eventually they get another one. It's Raymond from Hronik and Sherrod at 15:56, but that is as close as they will get. Columbus wins this one 4-3. They go to 13-27-2 with the win. The Red Wings drop to 18-16-7 with the loss. 3 stars in this one, Laine, Gaudreau, and Raymond. The shots, 14-8 Columbus in the first, 8 apiece in the second, 12-3 for Detroit in the third. Final shots, 28-25 for the Wings. Power plays, Columbus 0-1, Detroit 0-2. Hits were 27-23 for Columbus. Merzlikins saves 25 out of 28, and Husso saves 21 out of 25. Next up, the Montreal Canadiens in against the New York Islanders. So, rough week for both of these teams. Somebody had to win this, and here we go. It's Montembeault versus Sorokin at 2:25. Zizekas tips and a point shot from Dobson and Clutterbuck. So it's 1-0 for the Islanders there. The Islanders press for another. The shots are 3-1 in their favor 5 minutes in, and eventually they get one. Beauvillier fires one in from Mayfield and Pajot at 6:03. Kirby Doc nearly answers on the next shift. There's a power play for the Islanders. That's killed off. The Islanders press with 8.5 minutes left. Caulfield has a net drive. That's broken up. It's 2-0 Islanders after one. Second period, good start for the Habs. Early back and forth in this one. Drouin has a shot that's held. The Habs press at 3.5 minutes. Beauvillier has a shot that deflects out. Habs get a power play. That's killed off. Shots are 5-4 for the Habs at 9.5 minutes. They get another power play. That leads to a shorthanded chance for Parise, which is saved, and that's killed off. The Habs press with 3 minutes left, but after 2 periods, the score is still 2-0 for the Islanders. Third period, the shots are 2-1 for Montreal at 3.5 minutes. The Islanders press. That draws a power play. That was unsuccessful, and it's just a standard Islanders with a lead kind of game where, there's not a lot of chances until Suzuki buries one on a neck drive from Drouin at 9:56. Suzuki's been having a hard time finding the net lately, so maybe this is a sign he's ready to turn that around. Fashing's denied and close. They would pull the goaltender with 1 minute and 10 seconds left, but in the end, it's not enough. The Islanders hold on. They win this one 2-1. They go to 23-18-3 with the win for Montreal. The losses continue. 17-23-3 with the loss. The 3 stars in this one, Beauvillier, Zizekas, and Suzuki. The shots, 14-9 for the Islanders in both the first and the second period, and then 10-5 for the Islanders in the third. Final shots 38-23 for the Islanders. Both teams go 0 for 2 on the power play. Hits 25-18 for the Islanders. Montembeault saves 36 out of 38, and Sorokin saves 22 out of 23. So both goaltenders played well. It was a good game. We had a goalie duel here. And then we get on to the craziness. Absolute craziness. All right, so Ottawa coming into this game, I don't know, they didn't have that bad of a week, but Colorado had a rough week coming into this one and clearly decided to do something about it. Now, whether this is a sign things are going to turn around for Colorado, I don't know, but this is the first time I've used a Tony the Tiger magnet for the goaltender getting the shutout, meaning they're great, and a no mercy magnet on the same game. So, pretty all-around perfect performance by the Colorado Avalanche. It was Forsberg versus Francouz. The Sens pressed at 1.5 minutes. The Avs pressed back at 2.5 minutes. Good flow to the early part of this game. At 5:45, a 3-on-2 crosses up the Sens. Lose your assignment, and Rantanen makes him pay. He scores from McKinnon and Rodriguez. Sens press to answer, but it's Newhook that scores for the Colorado Avalanche at 7:50 from O'Connor and Cogliano. So it's 2-0 relatively early. Avs get a power play. That's killed off. The Sens press with 7 minutes left. There was a power play for Ottawa. That was killed off as well. Rodriguez is denied on a 3-on-2. Then Jamal Maris, who was in between the benches, I should say, takes a puck to the head. He was okay. He was fine. But, I mean, that's the dangers of being in between the benches. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often, to be honest, because pucks get fired into the benches all the time. You gotta keep your head up. There are many close calls, and while it's kind of funny here because Maris was okay, it's kind of scary. So we're going to the second period with a score of 2-0 for Colorado. The Sens had the early jump. Tkachuk can't bury one. The shots are 5-3 for Ottawa at 6 minutes, but at 9:05 it is Lehkonen scoring from Taves. The Avs press with 8 minutes left. Tkachuk couldn't take a stretch pass. It was close. He almost had it, couldn't quite get it, so Francouz got it instead. And the ice was choppy in this one. Apparently they had a lacrosse game in the building yesterday, and the ice conditions weren't optimal, because you could see the puck bouncing at points here. Near miss for Taves and close, but then Rantanen gets the 4-0 goal from Newhook and Girard at 15:57. It is 4-0 after 2. Third period, the Sens get a power play. The Avs don't let them set up. We then get a power play for the Avs. That's unsuccessful. So the Sens then get a power play. Here's the weird thing. The Sens have the power play. According to the app, it's a 1 for 2 for Colorado. Unless I missed something because there was 11 games on. This is a shorthanded goal by Lehkonen from McKinnon and McCarr at 8:18. And so that would be incorrect. So unless there was some other penalties they weren't showing me or something happened I didn't see. At any rate, I wrote it as a shorthanded goal for Lehkonen. The Avs do finish the kill. So, and then Hunt scores from England and Lehkonen at 15:49. So Lehkonen had a good game, and then Newhook adds one from O'Connor at 18:14, because I wanted to say something involving the Sens, but it's not very family friendly. But think like the Michael Jordan meme. Anyways, Colorado wins this one big time, 7-0. They go to 21-17-3 for Ottawa. Again, they get to 500 and they drop below 500. They're 19-20-3. And they're really falling out of the hunt in the East. Although I'm sure there'll be articles again tomorrow on the Sens and can they bounce back. And it's just sad to see now. It's just sad. 3 stars are Francouz, Rantanen, and Lehkonen. I have no problem with any of those. Your shots, 12-10 Colorado in the first, 14-11 Colorado in the second, 8-7 Ottawa in the third. Final shots, 33-29 for Colorado. Power plays, Ottawa 0 for 3. Colorado apparently 1 for 2. So I'll leave that as is. The hits, 20-16 for Colorado. Forsberg saves 26 out of 33. I'm not going to put it on him. Francouz saves all 29 for his 4th career shutout, his first this season. Kudos to Francouz. I've always been a fan. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come. All right, next up, Philadelphia in against Washington. So there's this weird thing going on with Philadelphia where they've become respectable. And suddenly Philadelphia's emerged as a potential contender for a playoff spot, right? So they just keep leaping over teams. I still think this is so their fan base at the end of the year sees them win the draft lottery and not get Bedard, because you have to be in the bottom 11 in order to get Bedard. And at the rate they're winning right now, we'll see. But Philadelphia is making a run of it. So it's Hart versus Kemper. Good back and forth early in this one as well. Power play for the Caps. The Flyers don't let them set up. That was killed off. The Caps did press after. Washington then presses at 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and 8.5 minutes in, the shots are 3-1 in their favor. So Washington was playing well out of the gate. Fans call a trip, the referee doesn't, and then the Flyers get a power play because Washington fans, yeah. Lawton gets the goal at 13:16 on the power play. I'm sure Caps fans were so happy about that. D'Angelo and Farabee with the assists. There was a lot of ref you suck chants. I didn't get a lot of them on the board in the 13-game night, but yeah, there were. So the Flyers press for another, but at 17:56, Ovechkin buries a rebound. That is his 30th goal of the season. I think it's like 48 years in a row he's had 30 goals. I know he's not 48. That's the miracle of Ovechkin. It is goal number 810. He's now 84 behind Gretzky. And yeah, so that makes it 1-1 after one. Second period. Early jump for the Capitals. Provorov has a rush chance that's saved. Capitals press at 2.5 minutes. Hathaway has a tip shot that's saved. And then it's Van Riemsdyk who scores for Philly. Remember, he's against his brother in this one. Tippett and Frost with the assists at 4:51. And that was a one-timer and close. You can't really save those. Lawton then has a chance that's caught and held, but at 5:40, Wade Allison adds one. He scores from Hayes and Lawton. So Lawton, goal and an assist for him. And it's 3-1, and now it's down to Carter Hart because Washington was outplaying them for large stretches in this. So the Caps press, Hart holds on, and then we get some pushing and shoving after that. There's a power play for the Capitals. That's killed off. The shots are 10 apiece with 7.5 minutes left. It slowed down, but there were a lot of good chances. This was a pretty good game. 2:27 left. The Caps get a power play. The Flyers kill that off. We're going to the third period with Philly up 3-1. Mantha shoots one wide on a rush. He was back in the lineup after a couple of healthy scratches. And now Strome is a healthy scratch instead. So we'll see how things work out with the trade deadline and how many they keep or who they get rid of, or if they just keep everybody because you know guys are going to get hurt. Early press by the Capitals. Kuznetsov has a blast that's saved. 4.5 minutes in. The shots are 3-1 for Washington. Jensen has a blast that's held. There's a press again by Washington in 7.5 minutes. They were all over the ice on this one. 2 minutes of 4-on-4. The Flyers draw a power play. That's killed off. Goalie gets pulled. Doesn't make a difference. Your final score is 3-1 for Philly. They go to 18-18-7. They're back at NHL 500. For Washington, they're 23-16-6. Your three stars are Hart, Lawton, and Ovechkin. The shots in this one, 7-5 Washington in the first, 14-11 Washington in the second, 19-9 for the Caps in the third. Final shots are 40-25 for Washington. Power plays, Philadelphia 1-for-3, Washington 0-for-3. The hits were 32-31 for Washington. Hart saves 39 out of 40. Kemper saves 22 out of 25. So, yeah, Carter Hart's back. He's playing really well. Apparently taking the iPads away from these guys works. So while people are, Tortorella, he's a dinosaur, and what is he? Yeah, on this instance, with taking away the iPads and really taking control of the team, it seems to be working. This is a team that's won what now? 7 out of 8? Yeah, they're playing quite well, and we'll see if they're able to keep that going. Next up, Pittsburgh in against Carolina. Pittsburgh will be so glad they don't have to see Carolina again, unless they see them in the playoffs. For Pittsburgh, this is a tough night. This is a tough night for them because they're not in a playoff spot at the end of the night. So DeSmith versus Anderson in this one, early jump for the Pens, and I'm aware we're still way out from the playoffs, but still when a team drops below the playoff line, it's worthy of note. Jarvis fires one wide on a rush. The shots are 3 apiece at 5 minutes. Speed in this game, I felt that would favor the Canes. It was very wide open at this stage too, and I thought, well, that definitely favors Carolina. Canes get a power play. Pesce has a blast that's held. That was killed off. Crosby with a rush. Burns defends that. Teravainen has a blast that's held. There's some pushing after that. And then Brady Shea. Point shot during a good press by Carolina. That goes in from Pesce and Martinook at 17:02. So Carolina's up 1-0. Canes press for another. Natchez has a net feed that's blocked, but they had to feel pretty good. After the first period, they're up 1-0. We're going to the second. Good early back and forth in this one. Power play for the Penguins. There's a shorthanded rush by Aho. That was saved. Zucker has a chance that's held. That's killed off. Shots are 4-2 for the Canes at 6.5 minutes, and eventually they get a second goal. It's Chatfield who's suddenly scoring goals from Aho and Fast at 9:14. Burns then has a shot that's held as the Canes are looking for more. Canes get a power play. That's killed. And there's good forechecking going on by the Canes late in the second period, but they get into penalty trouble. So the Penguins get a power play, and then it becomes a minute and 35 seconds of 5-on-3. The Canes do their best to kill that, but there's 11 seconds left in the 5-on-3 to start the third period. They do kill that off after Malkin's denied on a rush. So Anderson deserves a lot of credit for that as well. Canes finish the kill. Aho's denied. DeSmith holds on that one. Shots are 5-3 Pittsburgh at 5 minutes because they know how important this game is. Penguins draw their fourth power play and on a turnover, and it's one of those gaffes that can happen. But Raquel gets a goal on the power play at 7:48. And again, if you're Pittsburgh, you don't care how a turnover takes place to give your guy the puck in front of the net, but all you care about is that it's in the net, makes it 2-1. Goalie pull would happen with a minute and 20 seconds left for Pittsburgh. With 1:02 left, that becomes a 6-on-4 due to a power play. There's an empty net missed by Stahl. Martinook missed the empty net twice, but they hold on. So one thing about getting that power play and making it a 6-on-4, it means that the team that has the empty net to shoot at, they don't have to worry about icing. Doesn't matter. They just have to get the puck and throw it out. So the final score is 2-1 for Carolina. They go to 27-9-7 with the win. Pittsburgh 21-15-6 with the loss. 3 stars in this one: Anderson, Chatfield, and Shea. So Freddie Anderson, pretty good since his return. That's good news. Shots in this one: 15-11 Carolina in the first, 14-8 Carolina in the second, 16-7 Pittsburgh in the third as they desperately tried to tie this. Final shots are 36-35 for the Canes. Power plays: Pittsburgh 1 for 6, Carolina 0 for 2. So Pittsburgh got a lot of opportunities. Carolina didn't. Carolina still gets the win. Hits are 33-24 Pittsburgh. DeSmith saves 34 out of 36. Anderson saves 34 out of 35. Good goaltending matchup. Carolina gets the edge. And again, as I said, after losing 4 straight against Carolina this year, Pittsburgh doesn't want to see them, and they don't have to worry about it until the playoffs at the earliest. Now I need to change boards. All right, so Toronto and Boston. Now, what's funny to me is that I've already seen comments from Toronto fans on the channel. I don't get it. I think Toronto played a decent game. I do. And this one was close, and I really thought it was going to go to overtime, and I thought if it went to overtime, it could go either way. So it's Murray versus Ullmark in this one. The Bruins had the early jump. Marchand's denied and close. The Leafs press at 2 minutes. We had a fight between Simmons and Foligno. Good tilt there. Hall has a rush chance that's saved. The Leafs get a power play and they score on it. It's bunting from Tavares and Marner at 4:45, and it's a one-timer from the slot, and that was their first shot of the game. So Toronto, not a lot of shots, no, but smart with when they get those shots. Leafs press at 6 minutes. Frederick then had a rush chance that was saved. Marchand is denied again. Marchand, I think, was denied 3 times in that first period. Boston gets a power play. There was no stick for Hall during part of that, so it's a 5-on-3.5. Leafs kill it off. They only allow the one shot. The shots are 9-3 for Boston with 8 minutes left. At 15:02, Boston ties it. Bergeron from Marchand. It's dipped in front of the net. I'm going to mention this because I know it was mentioned on Hockey Night in Canada, and I know it was mentioned by the announcers. I don't think Ullmark threw his stick. I don't think that was intentional. There was a play right before this where the announcer said, well, Ullmark threw his stick there. That should be a penalty. I think he lost his grip on it. I didn't see it as throwing the stick. And they talked about it in between periods. One of those times where I actually, watched in between periods. And yeah, I don't think he threw his stick. But I understand there will be a lot of Toronto fans that disagree. But I don't think he threw it. So second period, we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Engvall would score to put Toronto in the lead at 2 minutes and 43 seconds. The Leafs look for another, but then it's David Pastrnak, who's been red hot lately. He scores at 5:52 to tie it. Matthews then had a chance, couldn't bury one in front. Giordano has a chance that's held. The shots are 5 apiece at 8.5 minutes. Leafs press at 9 minutes, but on a rush, Greer goes 5-hole from Foligno and Nosek at 10:33. So Foligno 2/3 of the way to a Gordie Howe hat trick tonight. We then had a power play for Toronto. That's killed off. Nylander has a chance that's held, and the Leafs press in the final minute. So after 2 periods, the score is 3-2 for Boston. And while Boston had played well, I thought Toronto did too. And again, I understand, I know the final score, but I did. I thought they played well. So third period, early press by Boston, but Toronto ties it. It's Matthews from Bunting and Marner at 3:17. Matthews is having a bad season. He's only on pace for 40. You know you've arrived when a 40-goal season is considered, he's not really playing up to par. So the shots are 2-1 for the Leafs at 8.5 minutes. I thought they did a good job of shutting down Boston for the most part. Boston gets a power play. That's killed off. The Leafs press with 6 minutes left, but at 18:44, a fantastic pass leads to the goal by Grzelcyk. It's Grzelcyk from Hall and Carlo at 18:44, and they pulled the goaltender right away in the face-off win, but Boston wins this one 4-3. They go to 33-5-4 with the win. They avoid back-to-back losses. They haven't had back-to-back losses all season. Toronto 26-11-7 overall. The 3 stars are Grzelcyk, Bergeron, and Bunting. The shots in this one, 15-5 Boston in the first, 13-12 Boston in the second, 6-4 Boston in the third. If you can hold Boston to 6 shots in the third period, you had a good game. Final shots are 34-21 for Boston. Power plays, Toronto 1-2, Boston 0-2. The hits 35-26 for Toronto. Murray 30 saves on 34 shots. Ullmark 18 saves on 21 shots. That's not a very Ullmark-like stat, but here we are. And at any rate, Toronto, again, you know, they lose the game. I know that's what people are going to focus on. Wins and losses are wins and losses. But anyways, Vancouver, speaking of losses, Vancouver in against Florida. I've mentioned recently that their penalty kill is killing them, right? I've mentioned this. And rinse and repeat. So it's Martin versus Bobrovsky. The Panthers were off to a good start until at 1:35, Studnicka on the first shot of the game scores from Mikheyev. So he deflects that one in. Hey, sometimes better to be lucky than good, right? I'm saying that even though Studnicka's been good. I've liked Studnicka's play, and obviously Mikheyev, I've really appreciated his play since signing with Vancouver. Panthers look to answer. The shots are only 2 apiece at 5.5 minutes. Not a very Panthers-like shot total. Shen has a chance that's held. Peterson then had a net drive that was blocked, but Lomberg ties it from Eric Stahl and Forsling at 8:58. The Canucks then get a power play. Panthers don't let them set up. They kill that off. Canucks press are kept to the outside. Studnicka's denied on a fast break, so now he gets a really good chance, and he's denied. Panthers press with 2 minutes left, and they press again to close it out. So it's 1-1 after 1. Second period, 39 seconds in, Tyler Myers gets his first goal of the season from Pettersson and Besser. So they have a lead for about that long. 1:46 seconds into the period, Eric Stahl scores from Maher and Cousins to tie it. The Panthers then get a power play, and they score on it. It's Ekblad from Montour and Tkachuk at 3:06. Canucks get a power play. That's killed off. The Panthers then get a power play of their own, and they score on it. It is Barkov from Reinhart and Ekblad at 9:51. Canucks power play after tonight is down to 66.1%. That seems high, doesn't it? So the Canucks get a power play. OEL has a shot that's held. That's killed off. 2:05 left. The Panthers get a power play. That's killed. And to the merciful gods of hockey, that was the end of the power plays for Florida. Shots are 4-0 for the Panthers. However, 5 minutes into the third, the Canucks press at 5.5 minutes. The Canucks score, but Horvat knocked the net off, so it's not a goal. Momentum for the Canucks. They need goals. They end up getting their 4th power play. They score on their 4th power play. It's Pettersson from Hughes and Miller at 10:02. Good cycle. He wired it. This is the frustrating part, too, if you're a Vancouver fan. They're scoring goals just fine. The offense is there. Just the penalty kill sucks. Goalie pull with 1.5 minutes left with 24.1 seconds left. The Panthers ice it. It becomes a 6-on-4 with a power play. That doesn't matter. Your final score is 4-3 for Florida. They even their record at 20-20-4. Vancouver 17-22-3. So those East Coast swings that take them out of the playoff race, they're back. It feels nice to rely on this every single season. 3 stars are Ekblad, Pettersson, and Eric Stahl. Your shots 15-9 for Florida in the first, 15-14 Florida in the second, 15-5 Vancouver in the third. Final shots are actually 38-35 for Vancouver. Power plays, Vancouver 1 for 5, Florida 2 for 3. The hits were 18-18. Martin saves 31 out of 35. Bobrovsky saves 35 out of 38. And there you go. Florida gets the victory, desperately needed by them, of course, to stay in the hunt. And for Vancouver, they just keep falling further out. Next up, Arizona in against Minnesota. And Arizona kind of showed tonight that you got to work for it. So Arizona has a miserable record. It is a bad record. But they still make you work for it. So it's Ingram versus Fleury. The Coyotes had the only shot in the game 3 minutes in. It was a slow first period. Pressed by the Coyotes at 9.5 minutes. They would press again with 8 minutes left. Not getting a ton of shots, but still getting that zone time. Near miss for Kaprizov on a rush. Really strong start for Arizona to this one, honestly. Gunther has a rush chance that's deflected wide. Eriksson Ek then had a rush of his own. That was saved. The Wild pressed to close it, but it's scoreless after 1. Second period. Back-to-back icings for the Wild. I think they had 3 icings in the first minute and a half. That's some exciting, scintillating play. There's the Coyotes press at 4.5 minutes. They end up getting a power play. That's killed off. The Wild get a power play and it becomes a 5-on-3. And this can be killer, especially in a tight game like this. During the 5-on-3, they score at Zuccarello from Kaprizov and Addison at 9:39. It's a tic-tac-toe play. No chance on that one for Ingram. And then 2 seconds after the 5-on-4 ends, they score again. It's Gaudreau from Hartman and Steele at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. And I've said before, I would be fine with counting a goal as a power play goal if it occurs within 3 seconds of the end of a power play, maybe 5. And I say that because, yes, the players out of the box, they're not part of the play yet. So I'd be okay with that. But I know people are going to disagree and all that. It's just something that I've always thought is you're still kind of on the power play. Game had been pretty even 5-on-5. That was the real kick in the pants if you're Arizona. Zuccarello then has a net feed that's picked off, but yeah, it's 2-0 Minnesota after 2. Third period, Schmaltz has a rush chance, that saved. Kaprizov has a net feed, that won't go. Mosier clears out a pretty dangerous chance in front of his net. Schmaltz fires one wide and close. The Wild are getting chances at this point in the game, but they're not getting shots on net. So they're getting that cycle, they're getting that zone time, they're not getting shots on net. Krause would then put Arizona on the board. He scores from McBain and Chychrun at 5:42. Duhaime then has a net feed near miss. The shots are 4-2 for the Coyotes at 8 minutes. Kaprizov scores, but it's offside. So goal number 100 is going to have to wait for Kirill the Thrill. Boldy tips one wide. The Coyotes press with 5.5 minutes left. Bjugstad has a shot that's saved. The Wild are pinned down. Long shift down there. Goalie pull isn't until there's 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Do you know what's funny? Pulling the goaltender with about 1.5 minutes left used to be standard. But now when that happens, the Minnesota announcers were perplexed as to why they waited so long. And then there wasn't this sense of urgency to get that tying goal. Well, with 12.6 seconds left, the Coyotes call a timeout. Whatever they discuss doesn't matter. They end up losing this one 2-1. Minnesota goes to 24-14-4 with the win. It's not the prettiest, but it's a win. Arizona 13-24-5 with the loss. Your 3 stars are Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury was very good. Spurgeon and Gaudreau. The shots in this one, 8-6 Arizona in the first, 15-8 Minnesota in the second, 12-6 Arizona in the third. The Coyotes outshoot Minnesota 28-27. Power plays Arizona 0-1, Minnesota 1-2. The hits 25-17 for Minnesota. Ingram saves 25 out of 27. Fleury saves 27 out of 28. So both goaltenders were good. It was a goaltending battle on a night where we had a few of those. Next up, not a goaltending battle. Not exactly. Saros. His numbers have been sparkling lately, but Buffalo is a goal-scoring machine. Much like Vancouver, their problem has been keeping the puck out of their net. So it's Luukkonen versus Saros in this one. Early chance for the Sabres. Jost fires one high. The Preds clear it out. The shots are 4-0 in favor of Buffalo 3.5 minutes in. Cole Smith then couldn't bury one on a 2-on-1. Sabres get a power play. The Predators do not let them get it set up. They kill that off, but Skinner scores on a breakaway. It was a great pass by Tage Thompson there. Dahlin with the other assist at 11:37. Shots are 12-3 for the Sabres with 6 minutes left. They were just controlling the whole thing. But the Predators would get a power play and they score on it. It's Yossi from Johansson and Parson at 15:23. The Sabres then get a power play shortly thereafter. That's killed off. Nashville presses with 1.5 minutes left. But after the first period, it's 1-1. Second period, Johansson has a shot that's held. Cousins then scores a nice one from Peterka and Quinn at 2:05. The Sabres get a power play, and they score on it. It's Olofsson, power play specialist there, from Power and Middlestad at 8:58. So it's 3-1 for Buffalo in the second period. Power then has a shot that's held on a rush, and it really looked like Buffalo was playing quite well until at 15:10, Lauzon makes it a little closer from Glass and Sissons. It's been nice to see Cody Glass having a pretty solid season. And then 40 seconds later, Johansson scores from Fabro and Ekholm. So I see the Lauzon goal, and then I go back to the app. I'm like, it's 3-3, so I had to flip back. 11 games, it gets a little hairy, a little hectic. Preds then press as the Sabres seem to be melting down. They get a power play. I think it was Samuelson that got a penalty, but it just felt like the Sabres were in the midst of a meltdown here. They allowed 2 goals, and then they're killing a penalty. But they did kill off that penalty, and then they get a power play with 13 seconds left. So they compose themselves. It's 3-3 going into the third period. Cousins has a shot that's saved and cleared. Jeannot clears another. That power play that the Sabres had at the end of the second is killed off at the beginning of the third. Shots are 3-1 for Buffalo, 4 minutes in. Preds get a power play. That leads to a shorthanded goal. Kyle Okposo, remember him? He scores from Lyubushkin at 6:43. So suddenly, Buffalo has a lead and really quieted the crowd too. which is too bad because the whole night they were focusing on the crowd and they were talking to people in the crowd. And they were really, fans are this is going to happen. And fans kept saying, oh, yeah, no, they're going to come back and win this. But at any rate, the Sabres finish off the kill after that, too. That's the important thing after getting the shorthanded goal. Peterka had a net drive. That's held. Trennan has a shot tipped wide. And then Quinn. He scores at 16:49 to make the score 5-3. They'd pull the goaltender with 2.5 minutes left. They had some pressure. They could not get a goal. Your final score is 5-3 for Buffalo. They go to 21-18-2 with a desperately needed victory. For Nashville, they're 19-17-6 with the loss. Your 3 stars are Okposo, Johansson, and Skinner. The shots in this one, 14-5 Buffalo in the first, 17-9 Nashville in the second, 19-10 Nashville in the third. Final shots, 41-33 for Nashville. Power plays, Buffalo 1 for 4, Nashville 1 for 3. The hits, 36-14 for Nashville. As I've said before, Buffalo really doesn't hit. Luukkonen, 38 saves on 41 shots. Saros saves 28 out of 33. So they kind of got goalied as well. So not hitting, but Luukkonen definitely giving the knockout punch there. All right. Last one on this board is Seattle and Chicago. So this is just ridiculousness. I really thought I was going to need a no mercy magnet for this, but then they showed mercy, I guess. So it's Jones versus Mrazek. Mrazek would not last till the end of this game. On the first shot, they get a goal. It is sprung from Geekie and Tanev at 250. At 440, Chicago ties it. It's Taves from Radish and Seth Jones. He buries that one in close. It's on a rush. And I thought, all right, we're going to get a really high-scoring game, which we did, but I figured it was going to be neck and neck the whole way, which it wasn't. Shots are 4-1 for Chicago at 5 minutes. So they've only allowed one shot, but it's a tie game. Kraken are stuck on one shot until 9 minutes and 30 seconds in, and they score on another one. Beniers from Dunn, it was technically the third shot on a turnover, so Mrazek made his save of the night. I don't mean big save like, oh, it's save of the night, just his save for tonight. Then McCann scores from Donato on the next shot at 10:46. Burakovsky scores from Beniers and Eberle at 12:08. That was on the next shot as well. So 4 goals on 5 shots equal Stalock's going in. So Stalock goes in, and right away he allows one at 12:45. It's Tolvanen from Gord and Bjorkstrand. And then at 13:11, they score again. It's McCann from Donato and Wenberg. The Kraken then get a power play. That mercifully is killed off. Seattle had 11 shots in the first period, and they scored on 6 of them. And they scored on 4 of the first 5 shots they had. So after the first period, it is 6-1 for Seattle, and I thought, are we going to see double digits? I'm sure others thought that too. Second period, the shots are 4-2 for the Kraken at 5 minutes. Stalock seemed to be fixing his save percentage at this point, and Phillips would score his first NHL goal, and it was a nice one. Phillips has been playing well since his recall. Dickinson with the assist at 10:45, and the two of them went up the ice and passed back and forth and scored. The Hawks get a power play with 57 seconds left in the period, so it's 6-2 after 2. Third period, Domi has a shot that's blocked, but then his next one goes in. So 51 seconds into the third period, Domi scores from Radish and Seth Jones, makes it 6-3. There's still tons of game left, so maybe, right? So he wired that one on a good cycle, and then while they're announcing it, at 1:54, Seattle answers. McCann gets a hat-trick goal from Larson and Wenberg. It was posting in, nice goal there. And then Bjorkstrand scored at 2:37. And underneath the Bjorkstrand goal, I know you guys probably can't read it, but I wrote, what is defense? Because there really wasn't any on that play by Chicago. Bjorkstrand was just wide open and just fires it in. I'm not sure what the Chicago Blackhawks defense was thinking there, but maybe they decided we can be as bad as Anaheim defensively. It was a disaster. So yeah, Tanev then nearly adds another, and I thought, wow, this is going to be a no mercy game. However, the Hawks get a power play and they score on it. It's Radish from Taves and Seth Jones at 16:50. So if you want to find a weakness with Seattle, it is their penalty kill. Their penalty kill is almost as bad as Vancouver's. And then Kane would score from Domi at 19:45 just to wreck Seattle a little bit. Your final score is 8-5 for the Kraken. They go to 26-12-4 with the win. For Chicago, 11-26-4. The 3-game winning streak is done. And Seattle sweeps a 7-game road trip. Makes NHL history with that. So your 3 stars are McCann, Beniers, and Wenberg. The shots, 11-8 Seattle in the first, 10-8 Seattle in the second, 11-9 Chicago in the third. Final shots are 30-27, so 57 shots and 13 of them went in the net. Rough night for goaltenders. Power plays, Seattle 0 for 2, Chicago 2 for 2. So they lost the special teams battle. Again, it is something Seattle needs to work on. The hits 26-17 for Chicago. Martin Jones, 22 saves on 27 shots. Doesn't matter, he gets his 21st win. Mrazek saved 1 out of 5 of the shots that he faced. That may hurt his save percentage. Stalock saved 21 out of 25. I think the first 2 shots, went in behind him, so he got better after that. But yeah, rough night for Chicago goaltenders, and of course for Hawks fans, you guys have known you're doing the whole better luck next year thing since about the 3rd week of the season. That being said, I need to change boards. All right, last board, I promise this is it. So we're going to talk about Tampa Bay and St. Louis. Tampa Bay has had its struggles on the road. Maybe this is a sign that's going to turn around. Of course, St. Louis has had their struggles at home, so somebody had to win. Vasilevsky versus Binnington. It was Hall of Fame night. I'm not sure that the Blues Hall of Famers were really excited about how this game turned out, but it was a fun ceremony before the game. Sods denied on a rush. Stamkos then had a shot that was blocked. At 2:39, Pitlick opens the scoring from Toropchenko. So it's 1-0 St. Louis. Blues press at 4.5 minutes. The shots are 4-3 for St. Louis, 7.5 minutes in. Hedman then defends a rush chance by Braden Shen, and at 12:22, Point ties it. He scores from Perbix. Blues get a power play, that's killed off, and then Tampa Bay gets a chance on the power play, and they score. Everybody went to Stamkos. Stamkos finds Point. Point gets the power play goal from Stamkos and Kucherov at 16:43. I swear those 3 have combined on so many goals together. So that one was tipped at the side of the net. No chance for Binnington there. The Blues press with 1.5 minutes left, or Bolts press, I should say, with 1.5 minutes left, and they're up 2-1 after the first period. Second period, Stamkos is denied number 500 early. He's not got 500 yet. He's right on the cusp. The shots are 3-2 for Tampa Bay at 4 minutes. Levo fires one wide as the Blues press. There was a power play for Tampa. That's killed off. Blues get a power play. That's killed off as well. And then Perbix at 12:44 scores from Sergachev and Point. So Point with another point and Perbix with another as well. And then Buchnevich scores what felt like a really big goal for St. Louis to cut the lead. Kyrou and Thomas with the assists at 13:55. So it's 3-2 until Killorn. Big goals. Killorn's your guy. Scores from Hagel at 18:22. It is 4-2 in favor of Tampa after 2 periods. Third period, Achari at a rush chance that's held. The Blues get a power play. That's killed off. Shots are 5-4 for St. Louis at 8 minutes. Perry then has a shot that's saved. The rebound's held onto. Cole has a shot that's held as Tampa Bay's pressing, and they're shutting down the middle of the ice. So now you're going to have to get creative if you're St. Louis to get to the net because Tampa Bay is not allowing it. Press by Tampa Bay with 5 minutes left. The goalie gets pulled with 3 minutes left. Stamkos goes for the empty net, and it's blocked. So goal number 500 was not to be an empty netter tonight. Goal 500 doesn't happen tonight, but Tampa Bay does win 4-2. They go to 27-13-1 with the victory. St. Louis drops to 21-20-3 with the loss. So they're barely above 500. They're trying to stay in the hunt. It's getting tough. 3 stars, Point, Perbix, and Stamkos. Shots in this one, 9-7 Tampa in the first, 13-11 Tampa in the second, and 8-7 Tampa in the third. They do outshoot St. Louis 30-25. Power plays, Tampa Bay 1 for 2. St. Louis 0 for 3. The hits 20-15 St. Louis. Vasilevsky saves 23 out of 25. Binnington saves 26 out of 30. And there you go. So for St. Louis, they'll look to bounce back next game out. Oilers in against Vegas. This was a very entertaining game. And if these guys meet in the playoffs, we're in for quite the treat. Now, keep in mind that Vegas is without Stone, and it really shows when they're missing Stone. It really hurts Vegas quite badly. So it's Campbell versus Thompson. Takes 45 seconds. Matthias Janmark impressively opens the scoring from Barry and Kulak on the second shot of the game for Edmonton. And this is the 7th of 8 games where Vegas has allowed the first goal. It is a troubling trend on top of the injuries. At 1:42, Draisaitl scores from McDavid and Hyman. Vegas still without a shot to this point, and they're already down 2-0. Oilers then look for another. McLeod has a net feed. That's picked off. Vegas gets a power play. Kessel fans on one. That power play's killed off. Just the one shot. Oilers get a turn. It's killed off, but 6 shots for the Oilers power play. So Thompson is busy. Pressed by the Oilers, who kept to the outside, and then Vegas gets some pressure, and they score. Kolasar from Carrier and McNabb at 18:48. He banked that one in off of Campbell from behind the net. So it's 2-1 for Edmonton after one. Second period, Kessel has a rush chance that's kicked aside. The shots are 6-1 for Vegas at 5 minutes. Jack Campbell is definitely back to playing the way that we know that he can. Post for Janmark. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is then denied after, although I think that shot was blocked. Costin fires one high and close. This is still a form of denial, because otherwise it's going in. But then Draisaitl scores from Hyman at 7:22. He just wires it. Just filthy goal. No chance for Thompson there. Hyman then has a chance that's saved in close as the Oilers are looking to add to the lead. Petrangelo's stung on a shot block, but he was okay. He stays in the game. And then Cotter. He's back. Welcome back, Cotter. From Fraze and Kessel at 13:39. That's Fraze, the same one that played in Toronto not that long ago. And that was posting in. And then 13:57. So again, while they're announcing the one goal, somebody scores. It's Costin. I don't know what's going on with Costin in Edmonton. I do have one concern. When Kane comes back, and he could be back within the next week, is this going to negatively impact Costin's time, his opportunities? Because he's been fantastic. Janmark with the assist there on the rush goal. Vegas then they press, they draw a power play. The Oilers shot block, they clear it out. They only allowed one shot, and they killed it off. Hyman's then denied on a rush. The Oilers press. Marchessault has a rush chance that's saved, and then a little pressure after, and Carlson gets a goal. At 19:18 from Marchessault and Martinez. So that makes it 4-3 after 2. Third period. Vegas, early jump for them. Hyman, though, is denied. Thompson holds, and the actual shots on net are 5-1 Edmonton 4 minutes in. Puljujarvi has a shot that's held. McDavid's denied on a net drive, so Thompson doing everything he can to keep this one close. The Oilers press with 9 minutes left. Carlson nearly ties it. Pretty darn close for William Karlsson. And it's Vegas. It's their standard. They're down. It's late in the third, and they've got all the momentum in the world. Goalie pull with 1:40 left. Draisaitl misses the empty net. Nurse does, though, clear it out to end it. So they hold on. They win this one 4-3. It's a huge win for Edmonton. They go to 24-18-3 with the win. For Vegas, they're 28-14-2 with the loss. And they have to worry about Seattle. They have to worry about LA. Their position at the top of the division is a little perilous. So your 3 stars are Draisaitl, Carlson, and Cotter. Because the game's in Vegas, 2 of the 3 stars will almost always be Vegas Golden Knights, even if they never had a lead in the game, which is the case here. They didn't even have a lead. They get 2 of the 3 stars. Shots are 16-9 Edmonton in the first, 12-11 Vegas in the second, 10-9 Edmonton in the third. The final shots 37-30 for the Oilers. Power plays Edmonton 0-1, Vegas 0-2. As special teams really don't play a role in this. Hits are 36-30 for Vegas. Campbell saves 27 out of 30. I thought he played well. Thompson saves 33 out of 37. All right. Last game of the night. New Jersey in against LA. So New Jersey's for real. It's a question I got a lot in the live stream today. Yeah, they're for real. It's Blackwood versus Quick in this one. The Devils get a power play. It's an aggressive penalty kill. Shots are blocked and that power play's killed off. Kings press draws them a power play, and they score on it. It's Fiala from Kempe and Doughty at 6:32. It was a good cycle, and he just gets to tap the puck in. So they had a good kill, and then they get the power play goal. So early on, it looks like the special teams are going to favor LA. And by the end of the night, they do favor LA overall, but there you go. So the shots are 4-1 for the Kings at 8 minutes. The Kings draw another power play. Doughty has a shot that's held. That power play's killed off. The Devils then get another power play, and there were a lot of calls early in this game that really hurt the flow of it. Tatar would score on this power play from Hischier and Hughes at 12:51. Jack Hughes is going to be the first 100-point scorer for New Jersey this year. Devils then look for the lead. Graves has a shot that deflects aside. Fiala couldn't bury a chance he had on a turnover. 2:07 left. The Kings get their third power play. Byfield's denied in close. That power play's killed off. We go to the second period with this tied at 1. The Kings press at around 2.5 minutes, and then the puck's turned over, and it's in the net. On a 2-on-1, it's Howla from Mercer at 2:37. So I thought, well, the Kings are doing... Oh, never mind. No. Well, I already wrote it on the board, so I'll leave it there. But yeah. So the Kings get a power play. There's a near miss by Velarde, but then they score on that power play. It's Kopitar from Doughty and Velarde at 6:48. So that makes it 2-2. But it doesn't stay that way. Ahotiek scores from Palat and Hughes at 7:40. I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. Ahotiek, I believe is right, but it's a weird name. So anyways, he gets the goal to put them in the lead, and it goes through Quick. And Jonathan Quick, I think there were 2 goals tonight that he should have had. And this is definitely a conversation. So Copley has been getting a lot of starts, and I don't think with the performance from Quick tonight that's going to change anything. I think it's still Copley's net. Siegenthaler nearly adds one. It's close. The replay, here's the thing. So I've got the big screen TV here. It looks like it's over the line, but it's not conclusive. So I know there's people who are like, well, from the front, it looks like it. It does look like it. But when you see the pad move, I'm like, okay, so it's on the line. There's a reflection off the ice that makes it look like there's white ice in front of the puck. At the very least, it wasn't conclusive. There wasn't a conclusive angle that showed that puck was in the net. So Graves would add one, so it doesn't matter. He scores from Sharangovich at 10:57. That one's in. The shots are 10-6 for the Kings with 5 minutes left. 3 of the goals on 6 shots for New Jersey, only 1 on the 10 shots for LA, and that was a really big part of the difference tonight. Fiala fires one high from in close. There's a last-minute press by the Kings, but we're going to the third period with the score 4-2 for New Jersey. Early power play for the Devils. There's a shorthanded Anderson Dolan chance. He's killing some time out there. They end up killing it off, but they allowed 5 shots, so at least Quick was saving some of his save percentage there. Hughes fires one wide on a rush. The shots are 8-1 New Jersey at 6 minutes. So it was a rough night for LA. Great night if you're a Devils fan. So many turnovers by the Kings in that third period too. Just tons of them. I wasn't taking notes on all of them because I knew I didn't want to end up over in this column and make this overly long. It's already long enough as it is. That's what she said. Fiala draws a penalty shot. That was saved. McLeod has a turnover chance. That's saved as well. The Kings press with 6 minutes left. Iafallo was denied. Iafallo was all around it tonight. Early goalie pull because they're down by 2 with 2:09 left. Icing by the Kings means they have to put the goalie back in. They would get Quick out again, which leads to Jesper Bratt hitting the empty net at 18:56 from Sharangovich and Graves, and that makes your final score 5-2 New Jersey. They go to 28-12-3 with the win. For LA, 25-15-6 with the loss. They miss out on a chance to catch Vegas. Your 3 stars are Hughes, Doughty, and Severson. The shots in this one, 15-6 LA in the first, 11-7 LA in the second, 15-10 New Jersey in the third. Final shots, 36-28 in favor of LA. Power plays, New Jersey 1 for 3, LA 2 for 4. The hits, 31-21 for New Jersey. Blackwood saved 34 out of 36. I thought he deserved one of the 3 stars. I thought he played great. Might have been his best game of the year. Quick, 23 saves on 27 shots. It is that one weakness with LA that really leaves me kind of nervous about them in a 7-game series. They need a goaltender to step up in the second half of the season. They're going to need that if they're going to be able to get out of the first round of the playoffs. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.